exactly.
And but you left out one other thing. You run the risk of losing over here, and that's your heart.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and I'm
You're going to leave your heart here, aren't you? You're going to get on that plane to
Yes.
the USA. Your heart's going to be left here, just as mine is every time I make this trip.
Yeah, and I'm feeling that already. Before I came over here, when I was making plans to come over here, my intent was, okay, I'm coming here for 3 weeks, and you know, I'm going to spend X amount of money, and you know, and my intention was I'm going to try to pick up a bar girl every night, you know, and experience as much as I can. Okay, well, it don't work out that way. You know, okay, you're going to spend more money than you thought. Yeah, so what? You know, you can't take it to the grave. But you find that jumping from one bar girl to the next, to the next, to the next, maybe some guys can work that way. I can't, you know. It's just, it's too easy to get close, you know. And you might run through 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, you know. But all of a sudden you start to realize, wait a minute, that one's special, you know. And all of a sudden you don't want to go hopping from one to the other and stuff like that, you know. And
you meet so many here who do come across to you as special,
yeah,
just being the way that they are. And you know, they're everywhere here in comparison to back home, where it's so difficult to find just one good one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. Yeah, and that's part of the come down, part of the Thailand withdrawals. When you get on that plane home and you're back there for a while, and you just think, oh no, I have to deal with being back in the Western world. I've got to go to work, I've got to deal with the Western world back here. I've got no options. It's a relationship desert. You know, what am I doing? And that's when you'll start planning the next trip, thinking of the next trip, booking tickets, saving money, compartmentalizing your life between here and the Western world.
Well, you know, we got to go home. You know, we got to make the paycheck if we want to enjoy here. You know,
that's the price of this.
Exactly. But now myself, I'm already starting to look at home differently. Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit. You know, having to deal with women. It's like kind of having to deal with speed bumps. Okay, they're there. You just gotta get over it. You know, and but I'm looking at going home. You know, that's where the job's at. That's what makes everything possible to come to here. So I'm looking at going home, concentrating on work, and you know, Western women are out of the equation. You know, I'm not. You know, I'm concentrating on getting back here, and so my means of getting back here is back at home. You know, and so
I think that's the way that we need to think. That keeps a safety net for us, because
and it helps you stay focused.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And so, you know, you know, I'm sure there's not going to be a night that goes by that I don't think about the friendships that I've made here. You know, but that's good. You know, that's what being human is all about. You know, and that's what having a heart is all about. You know, and I have every intention of keeping in touch with, you know, certain ones over here, and you know, and I know what that entails too, and or what it could entail. And but like I say, you know, I've never felt it's wrong to love someone or to care about someone. It's not a wrong thing to do, you know. So, you know, and you know, now back at home, people would call us the filthy sex tours. You know,
Western pigs who travel to Thailand to do this to young, poor Thai girls. You know,
but,
where are you from?
But at the same time, the ones that call us that are the ones that will take the one they said they would love for the rest of their life. They'll take them to the divorce court and take everything from them, including their life. You know, but yet they call us the pigs. You know, or it's the guy who says that he's supposed to be a man, you know, but will, you know, willingly you know, be under the lash and be the plow horse. You know, well, what does that say about him? You know, he's going to call us the pig, but yet he's willing to get on his knees. No, you know.
It's incredible, isn't
So
it?
yeah, you know, the hypocrisy. You know,
these trips, they really open your eyes to this sort of thing, and you just don't see things in the same way that you did before. And you know, I know I really see more of the contributions that us men make to society now. When I'm back home, I see men who are taking out the garbage. I see the garbage men, the linesmen, the plumbers, the electricians, the carpenters, the builders. You know, I see the mathematicians, the computer scientists, the people who build our Western society.
Right. They make the machine work.
Yeah, exactly. All the machinery of Western society, the intellectual basis for our society, for everything. I see all that now.
Yeah.
And in many ways, what drives our behaviour as men is the love of a good woman, the love of another person, to have a family. I don't think that's too much to ask, really.
No.
It's not. And yet, here we are. I mean, we're in an environment now where there's other Western men who are sitting around us having dinner, and you know, we're not the only ones here. Thailand attracts, Pattaya in particular, attracts millions of Western men from all around the globe, but mostly the top visitors to Pattaya are from the countries with the highest rates of institutionalised feminism. Australia, UK, United States, Norway, Finland, Sweden.
Yes.
On and on it goes. They're all the biggest countries with the most feminism. Men are making these trips as a reaction. It's a rational reaction to what's going on the ground in the Western world. We're the true romantics. And I know that with the ladyboy that I'm in love with, that I would do a lot for her.
Yeah.
And I really would.
You know, back at home, we say to our country, you know, we say, how do I make it better? You know, how do I make our lives better? You know, we come over here, the same thing. And we say to our ladyboy partners or whatever, how do, you know, let me make your life better. You know, and that's what it is as a man. You know,
absolutely.
And at home, it's like you're not allowed to be a man. You know, or you're only allowed to be a man as far as monetarily, but everything else is you know, like not important to anybody else. You know, but over here, you know, you come over and say, let me make your life better. You know, and
it's amazing. I mean, look, I started off my life as I was raised. My mother and father, they got married. They stayed married. I had a good upbringing. I saw my mother as a homemaker. My father went out and earned money. He was a good provider. He worked hard. He made good money. He bought property. My family ended up well off because of his efforts. My mother was good as a homemaker, and you know, that's who I was raised to be. I was raised to be a provider. And I started out my working life. I was a beta man. I was under the control of a manager. I'm still under the control of a manager, working in IT. But
well, we basically always will be.
We always will be.
Yeah.
We always would. But I know in my working life, I guess you know, I'm a worker. I provide time and labour, and I always thought that I would get married and have a family. And it wasn't the first failed relationship. The second failed relationship, that was I went through it twice. I didn't need a third lesson. You know, some men, they have to keep going back, and they get married multiple times. Tom Likas was one of them. And he's been very open and honest about his failed marriages. I felt I didn't need the third lesson. I felt I've reached a certain age. I was 33 at the time. I looked around. I'd seen other men in my life whose relationships had failed. They were just going through divorce for the first time. I saw men who were unhappy, and I didn't want it to happen to me. I said, no, I am not going to go down that path. I've seen the results of that, and the environment has changed. This isn't the environment that my father inhabited. He brought me up he brought me up in a way that was maladaptive, so to speak, for the environment I found myself working in. He was working class. that enabled me to become middle class and to go off to university, the first person in the family to have ever achieved that. I got a bachelor's degree in computer science, and you know, but the environment that he raised me to be effective in just wasn't there anymore.
Right.
He was born during the Great Depression. I had an older father whose values were different to those around him. He was older than other fathers. People thought he was my grandfather. I gained his wisdom, but you know, the situation on the ground was different.
Times have changed, and the times of our grandparents that's no more. And like you said, the days of the husband or father could go out with a single job and support his family, and the mother and one wage, and the mother stayed home and raised the children, nurtured the children, and stuff like that. Those days are gone, and nowadays it takes, unless you're making above average income, it takes two incomes to run a family. And
even more in Melbourne and in Sydney in Australia. I mean, the average price of a house in Melbourne is up over $700,000 now. The average wage is only about $70,000. Sydney, it's even worse.
And you pretty much you're in debt for the rest of your life. But like you said, the roles have changed. Feminism ruined everything.
But it also, I guess. It showed women for what they truly are and what they truly want. And the way I see feminism, yes, it ruined everything, but it freed us, potentially. Potentially. Some of us have looked at feminism and what it's achieved in society, and we've looked at it closely, and I view us as the guys who have been awake, and we've said, okay, all right, we've been watching closely. I can now, if you don't want your traditional role as a homemaker and as a stay-at-home mother and everything, if you're going to say no to that, well, how about I say no to being a provider? How about I say no to going out and earning money?
Oh, you're the bad guy now.
Yeah, you can't do that. And then I started scratching my head and I thought, well, why can't I do that? I can do that, and you know what? I am going to do that, but I'm going to continue working, but I'm going to completely disengage from relationships. I'm going to go my own way. And the whole MGTOW movement on the internet, many men are waking up, they're sharing information with one another, and we're the reaction to what's going on the ground.
Let me give you a good example. I was on assignment recently, and I was talking to one of the guys. He's married, and according to him, he was very happily married. And he told me, he said, you know what the secret is to a good marriage, you know? And so I'm like, okay, I'll bite, you know. And I said, no, what? And he said, you just say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Whatever it is, whatever she's bitching about, whatever she's asking about, you say yes, dear, no, dear, when do you want it, dear, something like that. And I said, dude, I said, you're already beat. I said, you have already gotten on your knees to be the plow horse. How can you say that's a successful marriage? You know, and that seems to be the common theme. You know, it's just, well, we'll just get on our knees and let them, you know, put the lash to us, and well, no, not going to do it. And when I was a kid, I can remember my father saying, well, you know, once you get out of school, you know, you go get a job and you start a family, you have a wife and have your kids, you know. And I'm like, why? You know, and I could see, you know, right out of the gate that wasn't the life for me, you know. And so I started questioning, why do I have to do that? Well, that's just the way of things. Why does it have to be the way of things, you know?
I was always the same, questioning everything.
And I said, well, I don't want to get married right away. I don't want to have kids right away. I want to live my life, you know. And I was told, well, that's okay, just don't do it too long. Don't live your life too long. And so joined the military and stuff like that, started seeing the world and all. And I'm like, wait a minute, there is so much out here to see. There's so much to do. Or I can sit at home, I can be a plow horse. And I was like, no, and that's just not the life for me. And the more that I saw what my friends were going through. They're getting married, and within 3-5 years they were divorced, and some of them really lost big. And one of my friends, he has 5 children, and his wife, while she wasn't working, he was working supporting 5 kids. Now he was working supporting 5 kids in America on an average income. Okay, that's not easy to do. Okay, well, she was not working, not helping out, you know, and while he was at work, she was running with a girlfriend of hers who was into cocaine. Okay, well, she got into cocaine. You see where this is leading, okay? She got into cocaine, got hooked on it very quickly, okay? And, well, he would have to leave work and go, you know, pull her out of whatever shithole she got herself into. And, well, it eventually led to divorce. Guess who they gave the children to? Yeah, her.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's a coke addict.
It's shocking. I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing.
That goes to show just how far rigged the courts are in a woman's favor. She can be a coke, a coke addict prostitute and still win.
And this is the thing, you know. I looked at it for so long. I'm not the type of person to walk away from anything. Right? It's not me. I've never been that person. Everything I've gone for in life, I will see through to the bitter end, no matter what it is. When I came across MGTOW for the first time, I looked at it and I thought, okay, all right, these guys are saying, don't engage, walk away. All right, let's think about this. I've never done anything like that before. Their reasoning is correct. Their reasoning is logical. I can't disagree with what these guys are saying. Based on my experience and the experience of other men, this is actually the logical, well thought out course of action, and the only course of action that I can foresee, that I can take, that's going to protect me. And then I walked away. And the last 4 years have been the very best 4 years of my life because of that decision to disengage. They haven't been the easiest 4 years, not by a long stretch. I've had problems in the workplace, I've had problems with former friends, I've had problems with family, but the advantages of what I've done, the freedom that I've gained, the new friends that I've gained, the experiences that I've had, the people that I've met through my channel and over here, they've been incredible. I wouldn't give up the past 4 years of my life for anyone or anything. And I want this life to continue. My mother said to me recently, she says, Jarod, I don't think that you're the marrying kind.
No, some men are not.
You know, and, my mother said that. You know? I tell you what, it really struck home to me though. I thought about my experience in the workplace. Worked for a good company, got the good job, white collar, all the rest of it. But they were using performance reviews and like a plan on a page about my job. You know, I had a role statement, duty statement, actions that I would engage in the workplace. So I thought to myself, okay. So these are tools of the corporate world to describe what actions that I'll be taking, what behaviour that I'll be engaging in whilst I'm working for this corporation. And I thought to myself, the same thing really is in place for marriage. It is, it's in place. It may not be written out as such, but there's a set of expectations that a woman has and a set of behaviours that we men have to conform to in order to meet those expectations. I looked at it, I think, well, no, I don't want to engage in that. I'm going to write my own plan on a page, my own duty statement. I'm going to have my own set of behaviours and my own values. That's the way I'm going to do things. And they're going to be very different to what I see from the men around me, and they're going to be for me. And they're going to be for my benefit and not the benefits of somebody else who wants to use me as a utility. It will benefit me first and foremost, and those who I care about, love, and want to help. In addition, and they too will have a plan on a page, a role and duty statement, and a set of expectations from me. I guess, and yes, myself. I guess whilst we're over here, there are certain expectations from us, Western men, when we engage with the Ladyboys. And we fulfil those expectations. We accept the system over here, and we accept what they do for us. It's a perfect arrangement, right? It's not a traditional arrangement, but we get what we need, and so do they.
Well, there's there's what they call rules of engagement. Okay, there's certain rules that, as a man or as a woman, or ladyboy, as in our case, that you're expected to follow. It's just the way of things. You're expected to be generous. You're expected to be kind, considerate, stuff like that, and gentle. You're expected to behave in a certain manner. That is a good man. At the same time, we expect the same thing out of women. We expect them to engage, in the rules of engagement, and to be what
the social contract.
Right. And well, women have decided they ain't playing by the rules no more.
Yeah.
Well,
we have to still play by our rules.
So hey, we don't have to either. And but like you said, you draw up your own, plan as to how you feel that a good wife should be and a good man should be and stuff like that, and you find a partner that that wants to do the same. Not be used, not be subservient, but to be your your equal partner, but treats you the same as you treat her. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way it's supposed to be. And
nobody expected this to me. I've got to tell you, nobody expected that my life would turn out the way that it has. It's almost shocking to those around me that I ended up living this life. And as I said, I lost certain friends. Certain people turned against me in the workplace. People that I didn't expect would turn against me, but it happened. And I guess it was only what really saved me were the early experiences that I had in bars and nightclubs back in Australia. It was seeing the worst of human behaviour out on the street. You can learn a lot in that sort of environment, as you can over here. But my life's turned out very differently, and it's all been based upon the experiences that I've lived. And I have difficulties relating to certain types of men now, the men who are happily married who can't even see any of this. And I don't know if they can't see it or they're not willing to see it.
Well, they can see it. They may not understand it. They can see it.
They can certainly feel it as well.
Right, and I think maybe to a certain point they don't want to let themselves see all of it because they know what the feelings it may elicit in them. I have friends at work that I talk about the lifestyle that I lead, and not they don't know anything about Ladyboys. Now that I have to keep kind of secret from now at home because the work environment, stuff like that, would not be conducive. I would probably lose my job. But they see the lifestyle that I lead as a single man, and a lot of them, they don't like it, and jealousy, envy, but also a lot of them don't want to. They don't want to hear it because it gets them thinking what they could be doing. And so some of them may not be able to understand. They're so far gone, they're just willing to be subservient, that's the only life they know and they're comfortable with, and hey, and if that's the case, great. Let them be subservient. Let them pay let them make the taxpayers. Okay. Because you figure if they have kids, that's taxpayers are going to be paying for our.
Exactly.
If that ain't selfishness, what is?
Tom Roberts thinks of it in exactly the same way.
If that's the life that they're happy with, great. That means they won't be over here being more competition for me.
Exactly.
But no, what I'm trying to say is a lot of them see the lifestyle that we lead, and they know that they're trapped. They know that if they leave their marriage, you're going to lose everything. And a lot of them, they resent us as if we're to blame for them being trapped. That they know that they know they got themselves into it.
Absolutely.
And so you know, their only way out, if they want to get out of that subservient lifestyle, then they basically have to lose everything and start over. And sometimes, as far as I'm concerned, if you're still, you know, you know, below middle age, or at least not above middle age, you know, if you have to lose everything to finally start being the man that you want to be, lose it all.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And,
I had this conversation with a married friend of mine, well, not quite married, engaged, and living in a marriage-like relationship. And I said to him, I won't use his name, but I said to him, I said, look, you have to be willing to walk away, lose everything, end up in debt, living in a studio apartment on the main road, driving a beater of a car. So you have no assets, you'll be in debt, but you have your freedom, you have your autonomy, you have your peace of mind. What are you going to do? You come back to me a couple of days later and say, look, Jarod, I've thought about it. As miserable as I am, I'm going to stay, and I'm going to try to make it work. And I said, look, I wish you all the best, and if there's anything that I can do to help you in any way, let me know. So I was happy to learn that things have been going better for him over the last year or so. But I was really worried for him at one stage, really worried, because I really thought that he's not going to. He was in a bad situation, and it was getting worse, and he was in despair. And you know when somebody's in a state of despair. And but I mean that really is the deal, and men have to realise that that's the likely position. I know in Australia, if you get divorced, then generally speaking, will end up with 70% of the marital assets. And it's the same way in the U.S. You know, a lot of times they wind up with everything. And so you've got to always be asking that question: what is my role here? And as the man, your role is to work, to earn money, to give to your woman, to have a family, and to pay for your family. Your role is a provider, even though times have changed, even though women are working in the workforce, and we're equal, so to speak. But there was a study done at Harvard University. It was fascinating that Harvard-educated MBAs, females, they had achieved an MBA degree, and they were working full-time, and then they looked at them a couple of years later. They'd married, ones who had married, dropped out of the workforce. Some of them didn't even work part-time. They dropped out completely to be stay-at-home mothers and to raise families and stuff like that. And it's interesting if you think of it, that a woman who's got the ability, the inclination, the IQ, and the determination to go and get a Harvard MBA.
That's quite an achievement.
It is. It's quite an achievement. But that she's willing to then drop out of the workforce after she has her first child and not go back. It's shocking in many ways. I mean, feminists would say, oh, well, women should be given the choice that they can work or they can stay at home, and or they should have all these choices. Okay, fine. So women have got the choice that they can work full-time, work part-time, drop out of the workforce completely, become a stay-at-home mother, do all these things. Whereas for us men, the choice seems to be, we've got three choices. We either work full-time, or work full-time. You know? It's unbelievable. That's the situation.
And the penalty is if you don't work full time, you lose everything. You know? Here's something else to consider. You know, every man needs to consider to himself, what do those two words "I do"? You know, how much are they willing to pay for those two words "I do"? You know, you better be willing to pay everything for that. Otherwise, you know.
It's funny, I look at how much I spend over here in Pattaya. If I come here twice a year, it amounts to about 10% of my income, which is a small price to pay.
Hello? Hey, sweetheart. Okay, you say you're headed to the bar? Okay. All right, yeah, I'll meet you there. Okay, yeah, we're still over here at the beer garden, but yeah, we're just like 5 minutes away. Okay, I'll see you there. Okay, sweetheart. Okay, okay, bye-bye.
Going to meet us at Sensations Bar?
Huh?
She's going to meet us
Well, we're going to meet us over at the other one, and then from there,
which bar?
My Way.
My Way Bar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's here in Walking Street.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're only like 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
And because everybody knows where that one's at,
Yeah.
so we kind of meet there, and then, yeah.
I was just going to say that these trips amount to about 10% of my gross income per year if I take 2 trips a year, approximately that much, maybe a little bit more, which is a lot less than what I would pay if I was if I had a family. Well, I think what we should probably do is end our discussion here. I think it's been a fascinating discussion that we've had today.
Yes, it has.
We've got a lot here. And look, I thank you very much for granting me the privilege of interviewing you.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for valuing my opinion.
Excellent. I think the fans on the channel will very much appreciate this. This is the longest interview that I've ever done. It's gone for an hour and a half. I think many people's attention span isn't that long, but I know with the material that I'm putting up and the viewers that I've got, their attention span is this long. So thank you very much, and let's go out and we'll go off to Sensations Bar. We'll say hello to Scott, and we'll have a great night.
All right, sounds good to me. All right, well, thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you.